Greetings, everybody. Welcome back to another Meet the Consultant. And I'm going to remind you all of the awesome programs that we have coming up for the summer that you still have time to register for. The first being our 4-week high school program, both for policy and LD, that runs from July 1st through the 29th, and also our college program that runs from July 27th to August 5th. And then lastly, and we've not talked about it enough, but more talking about it is going to happen, is our boutique burner that runs from August 7th to August 12th. A lot of workshop, round robin type things, and just getting ready for panel type debates is the focus of that. We've got some cool prizes, i.e., everybody has them, but you know what? Maybe you don't, and you just want a second pair. AirPods, a donation to your favorite local organization, and 2 free coaching sessions at Debate Boutique for your fall preparation. So, there's one other thing: financial accessibility. Because I don't know who doesn't benefit from that and why we aren't talking about it more, so I will. That Debate Boutique is a financial accessibility form that you can and should fill out. We are on a mission that every student should be able to attend a nationally competitive summer program for debate. We are that, and so please fill that out. We have 4 spots left. 4. So please make it hard for me these next few days in the email chain so that I can say yes, and then, sadly, tell some students the doors are closed after we're closed. But don't be that student. So now that we have all of that under control, I am so excited to be interviewing and introducing, who some of you all might already know, you should, Kwudjwa, Osei, an NDT semi-finalist. If we honestly could rewind the track of who's, been like they're fired, gonna be fired, duh. I would like to rewind it to last summer where, after I was sweating from a debate that I had versus Kwudjwa and their cousin Julian, think you can run back. Yeah, y'all, watch out. And look what happened. And period. So, Kwudjwa, hi, hello.
Hello. Pretty good. How about you?
Living excited to do this interview, and if the community doesn't know who you are, correcting that mistake. So I'm excited to do that and to have you on board for our students. So we're gonna jump into these questions and gotta keep it quick, dirty, but on my end, you explain all that you want. The first question is just your debater credentials. Right? What is your background in debate? How long have you been here? What are some things that you've done? Do some bragging, of course. Let us know.
All right. So hi, all. Name's Kwudjwa. I've been debating for 7 years. I'm a rising senior at the University of Pittsburgh. I started off debating at Shawnee Mission Northwest High School in Shawnee, Kansas. And initially I was debating just to, parent judges, lay judges. I wasn't really interested in any kind of high level debate or even debate at all. It was something that I was kind of doing on the side, but over time I started to feel like speaking was a skill that I could really latch onto. And then during my senior year, I started debating with my cousin Julian, and we went to more high level tournaments. And over time, I kind of felt that I enjoyed competition. I enjoyed what I was learning from debate. I was meeting people in the community that kind of believed in me, that I felt like I was getting some sort of, social relationship to. And over time, it led to us qualifying to, the NSDA Tournament, CFL. We qualified to the NCFL Tournament. And at the National Speech and Debate Tournament, I ended up getting top speaker. Julian and I were 3rd place overall. And then in college, I've spent a lot of time with my partner Christian trying to kind of flesh out a more unorthodox style of critical debating. He's a former UDL debater, and we spent a lot of time together trying to kind of come up with different ways to articulate and approach argumentation. I think my highest accolade has already been said by Jasmine.
Sorry.
You're good. It was our first, it was my first national debate tournament, actually. So we ended up in semifinals. We sparred with some of the greats over the past couple years. We beat the Copeland winner during this season. So, but I think I owe a lot of it to not just, the style of debating that we've tried to cultivate, the people and like coaches I work with, but also people that have judged me, my fellow debaters as well. They've taught me a whole ton. Jasmine has judged me a couple times and debated me, not one time last year. And I've used a lot of my knowledge from that to get to where I am now. So, I'm highly appreciative of it. I'm pretty appreciative of my accomplishments, and I hope to be able to help other students get there if they so desire.
I love that. Also, small school power. We love that. Would y'all consider yourself small school, right? That would, or no?
Yeah, especially after the pandemic, because we lost like half our coaching staff. So it got way tougher all of a sudden.
Yeah. But also like in high school, would you consider?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I mean, we only ended up really getting to go to like 4 TOC bid tournaments. One of them was at our school. And even then it was because Julian and I, were the only team that was like going to those tournaments. So like we couldn't really afford to go to that many tournaments. Julian and I had to fundraise just to go to NDCA.
Yeah.
So, we were a small school. Nobody really knew what our name was. We always had to, fight either against like reputation or teams not really taking us seriously. But, we made it.
Yeah. And were y'all what was the style of debate? Like what were our, for like high school, you mentioned in college.
Mm-hmm.
But like, what were y'all doing in high school?
In high school, we were a policy team for sure. We would sometimes make like critical arguments, but for the most part, we would go for like politics style arguments. When I was just debating in front of parents, I was still doing like policy style argumentation, but I was really more so focused on persuasion. I didn't really do line by line. I'm just gonna say I never really was good at the line by line. And when I was transitioning to doing like more high level policy, like type argumentation, it was kind of really hard to adapt. Julian really helped me get there, but at the same time, we would try to dabble in, all types of argumentation to help us round ourselves out. So if we needed to go for the K, we would go for the K. If we wanted to go for a theory argument that we just made up, we would, develop that argument and go for it. So we've kind of gone through every type of style, but in college debate specifically, I've been leading more towards like critical argumentation. I haven't read like framework before. I haven't read like theory arguments or like whatnot. So
I love that. Just honest debate it. Like, here's what makes sense, and we're just gonna steamroll with that, and we see what that gets you.
That's the direction.
Right, the semifinals of the NDT. So number 2, and it's going to be coaching credentials, right? So this is more so focused on who you've coached, how you've coached, any successes from that coaching. And successes can, yes, mean like ballots and trophies, but more importantly, like coaching moments where you're like, yes, this was a really good time for a student that you got the opportunity to work with.
So thing is, one of my coaches gave me advice that I ended up following, which is that you should probably wait until you're a junior or a senior to be coaching formally on a team. So I have not coached any students or any teams like as like a formal like hired coach, but I have worked with either novices on my own team. Like I said, my debate partner is a former UDL debater, and a lot of what he learned came from us spending time hanging out, talking about debate. He would ask me very specific questions. Even recently after the NDT, he asked me like, what's the structure of a politics dissent, right?
Yeah.
But for the most part, I've spent my time kind of working with novices or students like my partner, like one-on-one. I would say that my coaching style is to try to meet students where they are halfway, right? So I don't really expect students to take what I've learned give it to them and then have them employ it in debate. Instead, I want to figure out what skills they already have, what interests they already have, and how to make that persuasive to any judge that they might see and make it more communicative, right? For example, I've had novices come up to me before and, ask me how to make like an argument like Spanos better, or an argument like Deleuze, Baudrillard, etc. And while I'm not even that familiar with those arguments, I'll take what they already have, I'll take the knowledge that they already have and try to formulate it into a more complete argument, make it more efficient, bring in my own knowledge from different sectors of the critical or policy realm to make it into a well-rounded argument. But, again, I don't have specific accolades. I can't really take credit for any individual students' ballots. I've helped students by judging them. And usually what I do is that I will go through almost everything that happens in the debate. I flow very, very intently and then give students not only like the reason for decision and well-rounded, like how do you improve, but go through and look at specific weaknesses that I think a particular student has that they should be working on, rather than just telling them how to win like a random ballot.
Yeah. And I think that one, that is coaching, most definitely. I think that judges are underrated coaches, good judges, that is.
For sure.
I think we definitely have some judges that aren't as great as anything in life, but I really like what you're talking about in terms of kind of looking at the debates from the bird's eye view and helping students kind of see their arguments through, right? Like you might not know all the things about Baudrillard, but you can tell when something doesn't line up or doesn't make sense. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. Because a lot of the time, the judge that you have in the back of the round too does not understand Baudrillard. And you still have to figure out how to make this work. And so does your argument competitively make sense? So I think that for any student who's watching this, from working with you, judging you, debating against you, that you are an excellent consultant for those purposes of let's really work through what you're doing. Let's see how this works and let's make it make sense.
For sure. I like to try to build up the students that I'm working with. I like to make sure that what they're saying applies to whatever they're debating, whatever they're interacting with. I want to make sure that that helps you in the future, whether you're doing debate or not.
Exactly. I love that. It's interesting. You shouldn't judge until your junior or senior year. Honestly, some people should have taken that note.
I gotta agree with that.
Some people should have. They should have waited. Number 3. This is education. So, like you as an educator, what are some kind of it's not coaching per se, but what is your kind of education style, right? This kind of question leans to how do you approach the classroom? How do you approach the squad room? Like when you're talking to your novices, what is that schematic, that approach, et cetera, et cetera?
Mm-hmm. I think I was kind of getting into it a little bit earlier. I don't really like a top-down model. The University of Pittsburgh doesn't really take that approach. Instead, we focus on students' individual interests and what they kind of want to bring into the room. So generally, when I kind of think about the squad room, I'm interested in what my other teammates or what my partner is interested in. I want to figure out kind of where they're coming from when they see an argument, rather than see an argument, tell them what to say exactly, because I want them to not only figure out how to get to the ballot, but understand what they're doing in the first place, right? So for example, we've had like teams try to go for the K against like identity apps. And usually my problem with that will be like a student will make a link argument about there being like a contradiction in the app, or you're not being like an anti-capitalist correctly or whatever. And for me, I'm like, you're really skirting the question that the other team has set up in the debate to the point where what you're saying is kind of irrelevant. You might be right on all the structural aspects of it, but the other team is right on the identity aspects of it. So how do you reconcile the two? So when I approach teaching students, I want them to start thinking about how to create linkages between what they're thinking about and what other teams are thinking about, how it can link to what they're going to interact with in real life as well, right? I don't want students to kind of like take pieces of evidence, take cards, take formal arguments, but I'd rather them become kind of independent thinkers on their own, be able to talk to me for advice, not just in terms of what they should say, but how they want to say something. You know, I want to look at a student as kind of an equal, like they were my own partner. They're going to give a speech right after I give a speech. You know, I'm the 1A, they're going to give a 2AR. That's how I approach coaching students. That's how I approach education. That's how I want to personally be educated as well, right?
I love that. It's important. It's important. Students are people, not numbers, not stats. Mm-hmm. They learn in different ways, which is a great segue into number 4, and that is that humble moment where we kind of get into what are the type of students that benefit, right? Like, what are the type of student learners? How, like, what is the student that benefits from the way in which you kind of engage in debate? If you could kind of build it. That's not like a policies, debater or a critical debater. That's not that, but it's more so just like your approach and the way in which you're delivering it.
And I feel you too when you say it's not just a policy or critical debater, because that's not what I focus on when I think of the student. I think that the perfect student, for me is a student that wants to figure out how their life connects to debate instead of trying to shape themselves for debate, right? I think that students tend to kind of approach debate thinking that they need to change their brain or they need to learn a variety of things so that they can fit into the community. And, your life is more than a ballot. Your life is more than debate. So I'm more so interested in how can we make debate kind of work for you to figure out who you are in this world, how you can traverse it, what your opinions are, and how you can shape that into being, like kind of a better you, right?
Yeah.
I think that that's how I've been approaching debate myself. When I see affirmatives and negatives or whatever, I don't really approach them as being just like a game, even though I know it's competitive. I approach it personally as how do I figure out how I think about these things and kind of stay true to it while also participating in an activity that, I think that I'm personally bigger than. I want to make sure that I can shape up students to do that, right? That also being said, whatever educational interest you have, that's what I want to work with you on, right? So if you want to figure out your identity, if you want to figure out some structural thing, if you want to figure out how to be an activist, et cetera, I want to make sure that that's what you get out of debate. I want to make sure that once you're done with getting whatever ballots, whatever accolades or accomplishments you have in debate, that you can still take something out of the activity that, was more than the activity itself.
Yeah. I love that. Really, what I got from that is 2 things. One is that you come to the student, not the student comes to you. And then 2, working hard for the student, right? And I think that that's like really awesome because we are invested in the debater's journey. And it's not like they are honored because we are there. It's almost the opposite, right? Where it's like we are honored that they have trusted. Because a lot of the things that you said about like identity, about arguments, like we can affect someone's journey in debate depending on the environment that we bring them in. So that's like an honor that's placed on us. And so I think that students who maybe you've had an interesting debate experience prior to this moment where you didn't, feel acknowledged, or you felt like, you were the lab leader was the gift given from God, deposited down into the classroom that you had to, be subservient to. That this is not that. We're going to work hard for you because it is an honor to work with you because you have that trust in us. And we want to earn that trust. So I love that. And I think honestly and truly that Kwudjwa is an excellent consultant, coach, and instructor for the summer for that. Last question, number 5. And this is the why you at Debate Boutique, right? So like it's kind of a 2-parter question. So like why, Debate Boutique draws you in for like why you would even be here, right? Because like there has to be some type of why you would want to be represented by institutions such as this, but also what students can look forward to you in the environment of Debate Boutique and why that should be a choice and option for them.
Right. I think there are a couple reasons why I'm drawn to Debate Boutique. I think that it kind of gets rid of the weird bureaucratic aspects that like a lot of camps have, where you're expected to kind of train with like a couple lab leaders or whatever, instead of being able to make debate kind of more accessible for you. I think that Debate Boutique offers a variety of lectures that are framed for whatever student or whatever interest any student might have. It focuses on being diverse about its argument styles, about its teachers. The staff are excellent at getting students what they need, what they want, and also kind of giving them access to a community of research learners and good people to kind of be with. I also think that, for me, I personally want to be able to give back to Debate Boutique because it is a circle of staff and people that have given a lot to me in terms of, debate, right? Whether it's been judging, whether it's been just making me feel like I exist within this space, whether it was, actually debating at Debate Boutique, because all these things have influenced not just me as a debater, my success, but also me as a person and my ability to feel more confident in myself. So I feel like working here is kind of me giving back, and I want to be able to give that feeling over to the students. For the second aspect of the question, I guess, is that I think I'm the type of educator to, ask you not just what you need, what you want to be going for, whatever, but also like how you doing, like how's your mental going. After like every debate that I judge, I always tell the kids to like go get a snack, go get water, because I want to make sure that you're still taking care of your human needs before you get to your debate needs. So I want to make sure that you have a comfortable space to pursue what educational needs you have. I'm a pretty hands-on educator, so I want to kind of go through, make a list of your strengths and weaknesses, and then present them to you in a way that feels comfortable and manageable for you, as well as giving you the kind of tools from my brain to make you into a better and more successful debater.
And I mean, I can't really say anything after that. That's just like one, thank you. And I'm so pumped and excited for the people that are working with Debate Boutique, have been touched by Debate Boutique to help make this possible, because me alone, no, ever, not gonna happen. No, thank you. But the right people have joined on to this project, and it really warms my heart. I'm so happy that you said yes to joining on, Kwudjwa. I really do think that you have a lot of great things to give to students, and those students are going to be blessed.
Reaching out to me.
You said what? Oh, yes.
Y'all reaching out.
A no-brainer. So yes, y'all, thank you for tuning in to is it the final? Maybe, who knows? Meet the consultant for our high school summer staff. There are more to come for the college program, so stay tuned for that if you are a college student waiting for those things to come out. But yeah, y'all have a great rest of your day, night, or whenever you're watching this. Bye.
Yeah.